This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, I'd like to call the order the Douglas Library Board of Trustees meeting at 7 o'clock. I think our first thing to do is do the Pledge of Allegiance. So here we go. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
Okay, do we have any members of the public here that wish to address the board? Hearing no comments, okay. I guess we'll go into the agenda and start with the reports from the
Excuse me,
secretary.
yeah, it's
Is that Dale?
yeah, it's Donna.
Oh, Donna, where are you?
So I'm here.
Oh, there
I
you are.
just want to introduce Catherine Brinkman. She is our new board clerk. This is her first.
We already
meeting.
went.
She'll be assigned.
Yeah,
We're in the meeting,
Yeah.
right? But we're in the meeting now, and we have some new members that have joined us from before. So I just want
Okay,
to make sure everybody knows who Catherine is and that Catherine knows who everyone is. Thank you.
yeah, we already harassed her. Okay, so I believe the first item is approving the minutes from the 2/14 meeting. I wasn't present at that meeting, so I can't really comment on the minutes. Are there any comments, additions, corrections?
Catherine, this is Peter, and I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that. There we
All
go.
those in, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I shouldn't vote. I'm abstaining. Any no votes? Okay. Catherine, did you get that? Good. Okay. Next, I believe, is the financial report, and the numbers keep getting smaller, or I need better glasses. Okay. Kevin, do you have any comments?
Not really any specific comments. We're doing okay. The main thing I've been watching is that we're catching up on our part-time payroll, which we got a little bit ahead of.
Mhm.
But we've got a plan, and we've been kind of chipping away at that space, so we should be able to make ends meet before June.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else is it's pretty standard. Just kind of getting close to the end of the year to make sure
Yeah.
we start spending some of this stuff down.
Yeah, what percentage should we be at right now?
I mean, like, I usually use the part-time payroll as a gauge, so a little below 70, I would say.
Okay.
So, high 60s is probably appropriate.
Did anyone have any questions or comments on the budget? No? Everyone understand? Have any thoughts? No? Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to point out, Kevin?
No, not particularly.
Okay. Okie dokie. Now, I think we're next to the library director's report.
Okay. So everybody's very excited that the mask mandate's been lifted in town. So we've got some patrons coming in with masks, some without. Everybody seems to be being very respectful, but a lot of smiling faces to be able to walk in without having a mask on. So we're grateful for that. We had a long time library tech. Lori Roman is resigning her position at the end of the month. So we're going to miss having her around, but she's still going to be participating in some stuff on a volunteer basis. So that'll be nice. We're not losing her completely. Our two new LTAs are doing really well in their training. Couple more, another month and a half or so, and we'll start being able to give them some additional tasks beyond their basic desk work. In April, we'll be participating in the Passports to Connecticut Libraries program. So if you've ever done that before, you get a little passport book similar to the Vineyard passport, and you go around libraries, you get a little prize, and you get a stamp in your book. And if you get a certain amount of stamps, you can enter for a raffle drawing. So it's a nice way to get new people into the building, and we're excited to participate. Locker service has been doing really well. I'm hearing more and more people respond to it positively. So far, well, as of when I was writing this last Thursday, I think there were 111 times items were picked up. So that's not 111 items, it's 111 uses. Which I'm pretty thrilled with how much it's been taking off, considering it's really just been there for, February 1st was kind of our soft launch date. So it's done well for 6 weeks.
Evan, can I just interject?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I used it, as you know, and I loved it. And I've been mentioning it to everyone that I know. It's great. And I think a good idea would be if we had someone use it while we have events going on to draw attention to it too. Because as you know, the first time I used it, I think we had a town meeting there. Yeah, it was, yeah. And so that was my first time. And a couple of people stopped and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I think it's just the greatest idea. It's just so convenient and then everything. So.
Are you volunteering to show people how to use it?
Well, I've done it once, but
Because I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. I could do it sometime. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We can have the staff put stuff in there all weekend during Maple Fest. Every 15 minutes, somebody just
have
puts something in a
someone come out.
locker, and then somebody
Yeah.
comes by and takes it out.
Maybe
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
have like a scavenger hunt or little prizes in there so that people,
Yeah.
little Hershey bars or something.
Yeah.
It's a good incentive. First time you use the locker, you get a candy bar.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't want that.
Well,
I don't want to keep
you
track
owe
of that
me one.
spreadsheet.
Chocolate works. You owe me one.
Well, a Hershey's Kiss maybe, so it
Yeah.
doesn't feel expensive.
There you go.
Okay, all
Um,
right.
Okay, so our 3D printer, I'm working on getting it sent out for repair in the next couple of weeks. So it really hasn't been functioning correctly for quite a while. And I've spent a lot of time dealing with their help desk and, tinkering with different parts over and over again, and it just haven't really gotten anywhere with it. So I've been looking around a little bit for a potential replacement, but I figured, let's see if we can get this one repaired first. So it'll be a couple $100 between sending it out and repairing it and getting it back, hopefully, which will be cheaper than getting a new one. So what I've looked at for new ones is I did a survey across the state, what people have, what they like, what they wish they had done instead, and got a lot of different responses. For the most part, people were happy with the choices that they made. But there was one that came up a few times and was also very well reviewed on different websites, and it's the same one they have at RAM. And it's kind of like a middle grade where I think it costs about $1,000, which is cheaper than like the really big ones, but a step up from a hobbyist. So that's kind of what I got my eye on a little bit, if we decide to go that route, but we're not there. It's gonna be a couple months before we figure out whether this can be repaired. So that's in the future.
What model are you considering?
Oh, give me just one sec. I'm just gonna the Prusia i3.
That is a good fit. That was one I looked at when I was buying one for my nieces and nephews.
Yeah,
So-
people seem to really like it, and it's the same one they have at RAM. So I kind of figure the user base is already trained on it if we went that way.
Yeah.
Um,
That's an open system though, isn't it?
Yeah, our current one's open too, though.
Okay, because the closed ones are a lot quieter.
This one, so we've got an Ultimaker 2 Plus, which is a higher end model. I think even
Oh,
now
wow.
they, it's like $2,500 or something to
Mhm.
get one. And it's been open and it's never been loud enough where it's ever been a bother to anybody. You kind of hear it like, zzz, 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 but it's not distracting.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, keep us apprised on that if you would.
I'll let you know. And if it's something that I have to purchase, I would have to ask permission anyway, because it would go over that $1,000 threshold to spend out of 16.
Okay, thank you.
Would that be considered a piece of capital as opposed to an expense item?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose maybe it could be.
Well, all I'm saying is let's just be careful. We don't want to go in with one capital budget and, start trying to get more money out of it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah,
Thanks.
I'll have to ask the question.
Yeah, because we're not going to know if it can be repaired until later at this point, correct?
Yeah, right. So it's not something that we've missed this year's budget with it. It's something that I viewed coming in from, donations or something like that, like we get
Yeah.
a donation from the Lions Club or
Yeah,
organizations, and then we can,
they are fun, I'll tell you
Right.
that. They
They're
really
fun.
are.
People love watching them, and I love having them on. I feel bad this one's been down as long as it has.
Is it clogging or is it the platform or what's going on with it?
It's not adhering to the platform. And it's also not extruding at like a consistent rate. So I'm not sure if the heating element may not be heating up high enough. The what's feeding the element could not be pushing it through fast enough. It just seems like it's not quite functioning on a few different fronts, and that's
Okay, so the
But yeah.
patient might be able to be saved then.
yeah.
Okay,
From when I was talking to them, most of the components are relatively inexpensive, but sending it down there and having them look through it is the expensive part. So we have to do that before
okay.
before you do
Does that
anything.
Does that answer your question, Peter? Peter?
Yes, I was on mute. Yes, that does. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so
I
moving
have a
on.
question too
Oh.
about it, Kevin. I hate to spend money on repairs for an item that is getting near the end of its lifespan. And given the increased interest in 3D printers, if we want people coming into the library and using this, are we better off just buying one now? Because you're not talking an extraordinary sum of money when you say $1,000. So that's my question is,
that's a very good question, Gail.
I don't think this printer is really at end of life. And I think it's still considered like a very good machine.
yes, that I know.
So
How
so
old
it's
is
kind of
it?
an in-between thing.
How old is it?
5-6 years, I believe.
Oh, man, it's time.
Yeah, because
You know,
I
it's
remember when Amanda bought it. So,
Yeah, but specifications wise, this is still better than a lot of the cheaper ones that are out there. Because it was such a high-end model when we purchased it. So it may not necessarily, and it's not like it's been used like a workhorse all the time. So I don't know, if we could get this printer working brand new for $300, it would be a great deal for us. I'm also not opposed to saying that we don't go that way. I just thought it was more responsible to look into repairing before I looked for new fun toys.
Yeah, how quickly will you know about the repairs?
So what I need to do is I need to mail it down there. And unfortunately, I have to pay for service. So it's kind of, I would say probably 2 months.
2 months? Wow. I mean, because if you ordered one now, you'd have a new one in a week and it would be all put together if you bought the right kind.
I know.
I look at the 3D printer as something that we should be featuring, having, let's say, a workshop on it and using it as a tool to bring not only the young adults, but even the adults who are transfixed about what they're hearing. Or you got the 45-year-old guy whose kid comes home from high school and says, this 3D printer, it's cool.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at it as also a public relations tool for the library.
Okay. If you'd like, we can talk about it either at next month's meeting, or we can, if you wanted to add it as an agenda item tonight, if you wanted to approve some funds, I can look into something and purchase something quicker.
Kevin, what would about the maximum price be for the repair? Any idea?
No, it's, so essentially it's about $200 for them to tell you what's wrong with it.
Ooh,
And then from there,
Okay,
it'll just,
evaluate.
yeah, then it depends what the different parts are. What I was told was that the
Mhm.
parts are relatively inexpensive. So the actual repair cost probably won't be as much as the consultation cost. So
What
my
would
head,
the
if I-
thought be? What's
sorry,
the
Emma.
thought of having two printers? We could buy that new one and we could still
That's what I
repair
was-
this one.
well, that's
That's
good.
what I was thinking.
yeah, that was in the back of my head too. I wasn't sure we needed
Yeah.
to, but you know, it also, if both of them worked, it wouldn't be bad.
That would
either.
be great. Now, because,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have the kindergarten one and the high school one, huh?
Yeah,
yes,
Right.
that's it, because around $1,000 is not going to be that, it's going to be around 200 microns. If, in terms of, detail. So, and the newer ones that are coming out are self-leveling, which is a big problem, and can usually use more different types of filament than the others. So, and the software is just unbelievable now. It's canned software. The one my niece got was, she made a chess set out of it. It was
Oh,
already
wow.
programmed into the thing, and she just got the filaments and made a complete chess set.
And what
So
was the material? The filament, what's the material?
depends on what kind you get. Nylon's very popular. There's several different kinds, and some, there are different temperatures that they work at, and some of them stink really bad and some of them don't. And some of them are better for detail. There's one that it does very well in detail, but it's very brittle. So it depends on what you're using. So if we could get one that uses more than one type of filament, that would be great too.
yeah,
So-
they, for the most part, they all do, a few different types of filament. PLA and ABS are kind of the ones that
Yeah,
tend to be used the most. We generally use PLA because it's the cheapest.
yeah, that's true.
And we've got a lot of it. But the ABS, we've had that for the pen as well. But yeah, it's kind of the temperature and what each one can do.
Okay, so what's the thoughts on approving the purchase now?
We have to put it in the agenda. Right now, we're on a report.
Right.
Right, so shall we put it into the agenda to have an approval?
I move we put it into the agenda.
Okay, and would that be the agenda for the next meeting?
No,
Or is
tonight.
this a modification
Tonight.
of this agenda?
I move that we put it into the agenda for this evening.
Under new business?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll take it up then under other new business then.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, now, technically, we're supposed to have a vote on a modification of the agenda, technically. Could
Okay,
I have
I'll
a motion?
second it.
I so
Gail,
move.
Gail moved and I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we have modified our budget, our agenda. Okay, I'm sorry, and you have more to talk about, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, I got a couple more things. We did quarterly staff training on March 4th. We had the fire department in here and they showed us how to use fire extinguishers and then let us put out some fires in the parking lot, which was fun. And we went over some internal policies and discussed some workflow changes. So our next one's in June. Successful book sale on the 5th from the Friends, so that brought a lot of traffic through the building. On the same day, we had a babysitters training from Parks and Rec, and then the Hebron Greater Together Fund was in the lobby promoting their work. So it was a nice busy Saturday. The Children's Department continues to distribute take and make projects. So thus far, since they started that initiative, they've given out over 3,000 take and makes, which is really great. It's been something that's been a big success that we figured out through COVID, that what people wanted. The summer reading program this year the theme is Oceans of Possibilities, and Sherry's working on booking performers every week during the summer through mid to late August. There'll be a performer Thursdays at 1 p.m. And then nutmeg titles are going to be announced tomorrow. So, and we usually buy most, if not all of those, and have a couple of copies of those around. So that's it for the director's report.
Okay. Did anyone have any comments or questions for the director? Hearing none, I move on to Friends of the Douglas Library. Anyone who's a friend? Anyone who's a foe? I mean, does anyone have a report on the Friends? If not, we'll skip that agenda item.
So I know that there's no representative, but they had their book sale last week. They're going to be at Maple Fest on Saturday when
Okay.
we're there selling items over by their boutique.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. I know they have a meeting, but I believe I don't know if it's this month or next month.
Thank you, Karen. I mean, thank you for your report. So, okay. Town manager representative. Hello?
Hi, good evening. Let's see, as Kevin mentioned, we did do away with the mask requirements in all town buildings. The selectmen voted on that on their March 3rd meeting. So all town buildings, except for the senior center. The senior center is going to maintain the mask requirement through the end of the month, and then we'll revisit that. We're going to be implementing multi-factor authentication for all of our email accounts. And that includes the library board members, so all our board and commission members. This is required for our cyber security measures.
I know.
So you will be,
I have had so much trouble with that. So, okay.
you'll
right.
all be receiving emails to your Hebron CT email address, if you have one, with instructions on how that will work. And there will be a couple emails with instructions and contact information for Novus if you need help with it. It's pretty straightforward. The town employees implemented it a few months ago, and really we haven't had any problems. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
Donna, what did you say was going to happen? I missed it.
It's called multi-factor authentication. It's a security measure for when you log into your email. So what happens, and you've probably used multi-factor for some other things that you do in other emails or accounts. When you, and you will only have to enter the code the first time you log in, or if you change your password. So the first time you log into each device, if you use your phone, your iPad, or your computer, the first time you log in, it's going to prompt you to put in a phone number, your cell phone number, and they'll send you a text message with a code. And then you enter that code, and then that will allow access.
Okay.
So you should be seeing emails on that a couple times before the end of the month.
Okay.
We are in the midst of our budget meetings, so we're meeting every Tuesday night. The town manager presented his budget March 1st, and we've been going through different departments, So we have a couple more budget meetings and then just budget hearing in April and then the vote in May. And on Thursday evening, the selectmen will be discussing the potential return to in-person meetings or a hybrid format of meetings, or, you know, some of the selectmen are of the mind that if, you know, things are getting back to some sense of normalcy, should we be back in person? So the selectmen will be discussing that, and I think after that meeting, making a recommendation that, you know, boards and commissions can follow if they so choose. One of the challenges will be to, you know, if the decision is hybrid meeting, is do we have the technology in our buildings to be able to properly do a hybrid meeting? A hybrid meeting is, you know, where part of it is in person. Some people would be in person and other people would be attending remotely, and visitors, guests could be either in person or remotely. Everybody needs to be able to hear and see everybody else. So, you know, do we have the proper equipment to do that? Which leads me into my next item, which is hybrid meeting equipment or virtual meeting equipment, or some people call it a Zoom room. So one of the things we're hoping to do with our ARPA funding is to create at the library community room and at the town office building a true hybrid or virtual meeting rooms where we could have the proper equipment to do those meetings. And that is appropriate use of ARPA funds. And Kevin and I will be meeting with a couple of vendors soon to go over our meeting spaces and get some budget numbers for that.
Donna,
And yes, Peter?
would that be open to the public? Say a business or a group wants to hold a Zoom room meeting, could they reserve the community room at the library and hold it there?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something we could discuss. I just don't know how,
I am.
you know, if we would need to provide a staff member
You're a popular lady.
to facilitate the meeting,
Thank you.
because it doesn't happen by itself. And also the, just to be sure that the equipment would be, you know, secure and not damaged. But it's definitely something we could take a look at.
Peter, were
Okay,
you,
yeah,
you
I
considering
appreciate
having a
that,
fee?
thanks.
Sorry, were you something, is that was something that would require a fee or a donation or something like that? Is that what you were thinking? For someone wanting to use the meeting facilities?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think I was thinking the other side. What if something goes wrong, something breaks?
Yeah.
You know, it's a piece of town property.
Yeah, we'd have to have a town person there to run it, probably.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure it'll be looked into.
okay.
Thank you, Donna.
That is
Yeah.
not something that, you know, that we have discussed at all. And I don't think it would be something that we, you know, initially would be doing.
Okay.
But-
Yeah, we gotta figure out if it works for us first, I guess, before we open it to the public. Okay, so is that it, Donna?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, any comments or questions for the town manager representative? No? Okay, now the Board of Selectmen is going to report. Hello, Gail, are you there?
I am here, and Donna does such a great job of summing everything up. I don't have to say anything. We can move right along.
Well, that was fun.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next thing is the chairperson's report. Kevin and I both attended the grant writing seminar. which was very interesting and very complicated. It's going to take a while to go through the materials, but we do have a link for a website, and we do have the slides and outline that the presenter used. Kevin, are you going to share those with the rest of the board?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yep, I can email them right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that, Kevin.
Yeah, and one of the best things about the presentation, at the end, she had a list of reference books and, different courses, and she had a really long list of books that you can get on grant writing, which was a very valuable resource.
Mm. Mm.
But as Kevin was saying, they were looking more at big grants, not a few $1,000s, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, but I'm sure a lot of the principals will go over to our grant writing. So, and Kevin said he enjoyed it. This is his second time through it.
Yeah, every time it comes up, I've kind of sat through a couple of times just to absorb a little more.
Yeah, it's complicated. So, okay. Anyone have any thoughts or questions on anything else before we move on to the old business? Okay, we are now moving on to the old business. And building updates. Kevin, is that you?
That's me, just getting the screen share back going. So building updates with the roof regarding the grant funds. So the next step for that is securing the grant award to have the funds appropriated by the State Bond Commission. Our project has been submitted to get on the agenda for the next meeting, but sometimes it takes a little while to get on that meeting agenda. And as a recommendation from the grant administrator, I reached out to our state representatives to ask that they nudge the project forward, and Representative Green agreed to write a letter encouraging the commission to take up the item at their next meeting. So hopefully that will help.
Do you want us to also contact Representative Green, or should we approach her as a board, or you just want to handle it yourself?
Oh, I've already approached her.
Okay.
She said she said she would do it. If
Because,
you wanted
we
to
have a
nudge
lot of
on your own.
voters on the board, so.
Yeah.
So if you need our help, let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
Also with the roof, I know we're going to talk about this in new business, but the library board needs to have a representative on the roof building committee as part of the grant stipulations. So the director needs to be on the committee and a representative from the board. So we'll have to make a choice for that down in new business. Regarding the HVAC system, SNE prepared a quote for us to control humidity in the building and provide better heating to the reading room out front using the existing equipment. So they would replace 7 temperature sensors with temperature/humidity sensors, and then add another sensor in the reading room. The building committee has a meeting on this where they're going to be talking about the quote on the 21st. So next Monday at 6:30. So I'll be there to see what they say. Windows, we had an estimated arrival date for our windows from the manufacturer, and that's May 5th. So hopefully if they arrive around then, we can get them installed in May. Flooring, the vinyl tile that was installed in the community room and kitchen has been kind of lifting up a little bit and shifting for a while now. So finally got Northeast Flooring to come out and take a look at it. They lifted up the tiles in the kitchen and they found some moisture under the tiles. So they're going to investigate this further. They're supposed to come back on Wednesday to see what needs to be done so the tile will stay adhered to the floor. So we're not sure if it's a larger issue or not.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Yeah. And then regarding the spreadsheet, we just kind of updated it with everything that I said. So we're still working on the windows, and then the roof, we are looking for appropriation for the funds before we can go out for bid.
Okay. This print is even smaller than the other print.
Oh, God.
I just don't know how many pages you want to get this on.
No,
If
I
it's any
know that
bigger.
you're doing it for space, but
Yeah,
gonna have to
once
get
you
my
a spreadsheet
bifocals
on
out,
2 pages wide. I'll send out a magnifying glass with the next packet.
Yeah, please.
Oh, would it be helpful if you sent it in a PDF that we could put up on our screens and enlarge, or what do you
I have it
think?
in a PDF. Yeah, that's what I normally email it out as.
I mean, because that's something we could do. He could put it in a PDF, then we can, download the document and then open it up and enlarge it as much as we need to.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, you should have that ability now, I think.
yeah, I see it. I got the download on this one already.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Any building update questions? Okay.
One quick question. Is that floor anyway related to our leaky roof?
I don't think it's related to the leaky roof because that would have to get all the way to the basement.
Okay,
Yeah, and the roof hasn't been leaking,
okay,
that much.
just a thought.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the poet laureate. Is there any report on that today?
Well, we had spoken about waiting until the building was fully open, and I'm assuming that also means our meetings.
Mhm.
We have not discussed having that formal little tea or whatever.
Oh,
We
okay,
could, the committee could get together and discuss that and move forward.
okay. So the tea would be inviting candidates or interested parties to
Well,
come
not
in.
candidates, just interested individuals, just
Okay.
curious about the new position or potential candidates, whatever.
Okay, so it's basically just an open forum for people that have an interest. And I imagine, so it won't be a poetry reading then, I take it? No. Okay, anything else? Anyone?
It could be.
Okay, yeah, I don't play the bongo drums. Does anyone play the bongo drums? So we can have bongo drums with the poetry. Okay. The next item on the agenda is ACLB Board Assessment Tool from Strategic Planning.
Yeah, that means I'm up, huh? Well, strategic planning, that's quite a topic for us, as we just had a strategic planning meeting earlier this evening. But to refresh everyone, strategic planning is to take a look at where you are at and where you aspire to go, where you think you should be going. And the first item is to understand our needs. Well, we did that. We had a focus group just recently, and we got some ideas from the community. But the board, a couple of members of the board are on the committee, and we need the board to participate and to tell us what they think of our plan as we go along. And ultimately, the board members need to be able to effectively communicate it. There's no use in having a strategic plan if the members of the board cannot talk about this to members of the community. And as we go along with the steps in our plan over the next year and two, the board members always need to be able to say, hey, we've done this, we haven't done that. How do we need to modify our procedure on that? You don't change the goal, but you need to sometimes to say, I'm going to approach it from a different angle. So right now we are in the process of finalizing our product, and at the moment, that's all we can say about it.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on how board members can participate and help getting the information out to the community?
Not at this point. When we get done, it is going to be things for the different groups around the town to be able to get out to the community. Hey, we're having this program at the library. The library has changed these hours that way. These are all things that the board members can do. One thing we've always talked about is accessibility in the library. Well, we were going over that this evening. How people, do you need homebound services because you can get into the library? Or other people can pull up and use the lockers, but some can pull up but can't get out of their car to access the lockers. These are all things that the public needs to know about, and we need to broaden out the knowledge of everything that the library can do. Because the library can deliver a lot of services. We just have to let the community know about it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
And I
libraries.
love having members of the board write a letter to the editor at the River East
River
and
East.
say, hey, I'm on the board of trustees. You know what we're doing for you, community? This is how we're spending your taxpayer dollar.
Okay, and you're going to be giving us your report soon.
Yeah, Kevin's working on updating what we did tonight.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could write, I mean, I would be willing to write letters and things like that. And so I imagine other board members would also like be able to do that. I don't know any other way to get it, I mean, I don't have any, way to get to churches or any other organizations in the town. Maybe other people do through their
Yeah,
social
because
network.
Yeah, I was gonna say social media, if that
Yeah.
would be a consideration. For instance, on Facebook, there's a Hebron page. A lot of
Yes.
people who are new to town go there to find information about things as simple as pizza, but the
Yeah.
library would be a lot more interesting.
You mean the neighborhood thing?
There's
the
two different groups on Facebook. I don't have it on my laptop, but
yeah, because
Hebron
there's one in our
CT
neighborhood. Yeah.
Hebron CT Community is one of the main Facebook pages, but there are several Hebron
there are, yeah.
Facebook pages. And then the town has a Facebook page, the library has a Facebook page. There is the weekly management report that gets emailed into many homes, and we can always include information in there. And there's the senior newsletter that goes out to all seniors. So that's a good place. So those are a lot of things that happen already that we could include
Yeah.
information.
I think those are really great too, Donna. My concern is that we might be overlooking other opportunities. I know a lot of people that don't, for instance, subscribe to the library Facebook page. So then, I do get the electronic town report, but many people don't know that's available. It's shocking to me, and many people don't read the River East.
Amazing to
So
think how many people don't read it when it
I
goes
agree with
free.
you. I was out with some friends over the weekend, and they said, "Oh, is the Maple Fest happening?"
What?
It was in the River East. So I'm just saying, just to explore other areas, perhaps. I mean, it's amazing how many people are on that Hebron Facebook page. It's
Okay, everybody visit the Hebron Facebook page if you have Facebook. Wait, is it Facebook now or is it Meta or something?
That is the
Facebook
company.
yeah.
That is the company that owns Facebook now.
Okay, so it's still called Facebook. I have one for my business, so I don't know. Okay, all righty.
Pat,
Yeah,
Pat, the Sophia.
Yeah, sure.
We could, we don't have to do it tonight, but do a more organized way of writing letters to the editor. We could each, take a turn,
yeah,
maybe one a month or however often, and just choose one aspect of the library or even from something from the strategic plan,
mhm,
and just a small, short and sweet letter to the editor, and make it, personalize that letter, something
Yeah.
that we like about the library or an experience that we had at the library, and send that to the editor. And so we're keeping the name of the library in front of the townspeople, and we're letting them know, because I was thinking of doing that anyway with the new lockers. and it could be short and sweet. And so now they know about, if they read it, they know about the lockers, what we have there. And somebody else could do something else that, that they like, or to bring attention to it. And we can organize it in such a way that we cover all the aspects of the strategic plan as well.
Well, you could do the
Very
same thing
good,
for
Althea.
posting too, right? I mean, we could have like a system for posting things on Facebook pages or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah. I just mentioned yes, absolutely. What you do there, we can also do on the things that Colleen was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Did anyone else have any more comments? No?
I
Okay.
would say for Facebook,
Oh, you
follow
do
the-
Facebook.
I mean, we post stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, I
the
know.
library's page. So if you can amplify those and share those posts, that's an easy way to help us out. Just hit the share
Okay.
button.
Yeah, I mean, because in my neighborhood, we have, a neighborhood website, where people post mostly, I'm looking for a plumber or something like that. But,
That's
but
important.
also, or I lost my cat, but yeah, I mean, if you have that type of thing in your neighborhood or anything else, we can steal the postings from the library and then post them on the other sites. So it's a good idea, Kevin. Thank you. Okay, grant updates.
Okay, couple of quick grant updates. So under the building grant, kind of everything I went over under building updates. Hebron Together Community Fund. So all of the event dates were changed and advertisements have been updated and put around with new information. We have a program tomorrow evening, Foundations in Equity Literacy. That's tomorrow evening at 6:30. So I'd love to see a few more people sign up for that. I think we've got about 10 now, which isn't bad. And then
That's in person?
no,
Sorry.
it's Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing that came out said it was in person, I think.
It's kind of hybrid. So it's a Zoom event, but I'm going to set it up so you can attend in person in the community room if you prefer that.
Oh, okay.
But the speaker isn't going to physically be here. She's doing it through Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And then the next event after that is the book discussion of The Vanishing Half on April 5th. So that one will be in person in the community room. And then on April 19th, we have another lecture discussion, and that one will be Zoom as well. The ARPA grant, so all the bills have to be paid by the end of March for all the services. So I was working with 2 companies to get their final invoices. And I'm pretty much all set with that now. I've just got to make sure that they can get processed. I received 2 Chromebooks for circulation from the grant, but they can't be officially circulated until we meet all the SEPA requirements, and we still don't have our filters in place. So working on that as well. The Eisner graphic novel grant for libraries that was submitted for consideration middle of February. And the LSTA summer reading grant. We were trying to apply for that, but we were unable to get all the information we needed in time. So we were looking at trying to get therapy dogs in every week, several times during the summer. And we weren't able to get anybody that would want to commit to that. So some of them offered their services for very cheap or free. So we may end up trying to do that in another form, just not as large as that initial thought. And that's where I'm at with grants right now. I don't have anything new on the horizon for the moment. I'm just trying to get these buttoned up.
Do we belong to the town, belong to any of the organizations that publish grant materials, like that have the subscription services, Donna?
Yes, we do. We receive lots of emails about grants and lists, federal grants and lists to look for grants. So we do.
Okay.
We
And
don't we don't pay for any memberships that are, are searching for us, but we have a wealth of resources to look for grants.
And does Kevin have access to those too? Or who gets them and who takes care of them and who forwards them?
Different people get them. Usually they go to the town manager's office, and we'll share them out with the appropriate departments.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes they come from the state representatives or senators, or when a grant opportunity opens up, they'll send it out to us. So they come in many different ways.
Okay. But we don't have a grant search, service.
No,
Okay.
no, we don't.
Pat?
Yes.
The Hebron Greater Together Community Fund is going to be having a second round of requesting people sign up for grants. If they have an idea that will benefit Hebron, what am I trying to say? Improving community life.
Mhm.
So Kevin made a request last time and he got the grant for the program he was talking about earlier. So that's, it could be a small grant, it could be a large grant.
Yeah.
So I just want to, just remind you about that.
Okay.
That's going to be coming soon. We haven't determined the date yet as to when that'll be, but we'll have a table set up. We had one last week or March 5th, and we'll have one at the Maple Festival, letting people and organizations know about it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm very happy about the progress we're making with grants. I mean,
Mhm.
we're getting some good money, so
Yeah,
I think it's great.
yeah. And this one's from the Harvard Foundation.
Okay.
No
You know,
string.
one of the things that hit me was the way the library was formed by that group of women. They had a reading room in someone's house. They had a reading
right.
club. There were 3 women, I think, who founded the library. And I was wondering if we could get some sort of feminist grant or something, some sort of women's history grant, her story or something. But that's quite a fascinating story. So anyway, okay. Next, the fiscal year 22-23 budget.
So in your packets, you've got what was submitted as the town manager's proposed budget. Let's see, it's close to what we submitted, but the Sunday hours were, this is sideways, so that's not gonna help. The Sunday hours were taken out of the request.
Okay, and that's the only change?
That's the only change, yeah.
Okay. Well, any comments on the budget? I think we reviewed this before. But anyone else have any thoughts or comments or questions about what the funds are being used for or what the categories are? No? Okay.
Other than money, were there any reasons given for removing the Sunday hours?
No, I think it was just thought of as it's a tight fiscal year, and just wanted to put together. Oh, Donna's got her hand up.
Just one other thing that did come into play there is we are in the middle of a strategic plan, and we haven't really heard the results of the strategic plan and what recommendations will be made. And one thing we've been talking about in the strategic planning committee is increasing hours. And at the focus group, we learned that the desire is to standardize hours before we add Sunday hours. So to go to the same hours on weekdays, so 10 to 8 instead of noon to 8 on some days and 10 to 8 on other days. So part of the thought was that let's see what comes out of the strategic plan committee recommendation and what the board will recommend. And as Kevin said, money is tight, so we weren't in a position to do that this year.
Okay. Any more questions about budgets? Hearing none, I think we're ready to move on to new business. The Maple Fest.
I don't have much to report on Maple Fest other than it's happening this weekend. So it is Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4. The library will be open from 10 to 3 on Saturday. And then just the first floor will be open on Sunday, not the library building. I'll be here all day Saturday, and we've got some staff on Sunday that are just going to be keeping an eye on the building and letting me know if there's any large issues that take place. We also have our cleaning company coming in to keep an eye on the bathrooms and the trash cans and everything. So hopefully everything stays in pretty good shape. Yeah, beyond that, I'm just we're waiting for it to happen. I think we're in pretty good shape, and it's supposed to be a warm day. Hopefully the showers that may happen pass and we get a good turnout.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited about it this year since we didn't have one last year. So
yeah,
because there's been a little chit chat around about that. Any other comments or thoughts about the Maple Fest? Okay, the trifold, which I believe you included in our packet.
Yeah, you've got a copy of the trifold in your packet. So MA, Gail, and myself spent some time putting together this trifold. I'm just going to share it to the public and see if they want to. So this trifold just goes over some basics about the library, mission statement, vision statement, and history. And the interior just goes over a couple of different ways they can get involved if they want to get involved with. So you can volunteer, donate, use the library, join the board of trustees, become a friend of the library, or join the association. So we got a little bit of information about all these on there, and we're going to get these printed up so we have them. Well, they're being printed up to hand out, so we have them on Saturday.
I like the color. So
Thanks. Yeah, that's the theme we've been trying to use that matches our website and the newsletter.
it looks good.
I think it's great. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
very-
look for the minority staff worker there.
Oh,
That cracks me up.
no, that's a patron.
Oh,
isn't
that's
it?
a patron. Okay, because it's right next to the word.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's with use
Yeah.
the library.
Oh, okay.
It was more for
It's right
use the
next-
library.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
I thought of it for use the library, but yeah, I guess he's closer to staff now. Everything got shifted around a little bit.
Oh, okay.
He was
yeah,
reading on
yeah.
the job. I'd have to
Okay.
cut it, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, let's see. Hebron views holdover from January. What is that?
So MA had asked for this to be on the agenda. I think this was talking about similar to this trifold, trying to use Hebron views as a way to get out the word about different ways that you can be involved in the library. MA, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that what you wanted to say?
Oh, that's exactly it, because that goes out to everyone. And as we found out tonight, not everyone reads the River East, does not look at Facebook, whatever. Here's another choice, something else they can overlook. But I think we could write that utilizing a lot of the information that's just been placed in this trifold.
So you're thinking about in the next Hebron views having this, in a print media rather, sent into for Hebron views to publish.
Well, a narrative, not a brochure like this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, a literary form, yeah.
But also include the locker system too.
Oh, yeah, the
information.
locker system.
Well,
Okay,
Yes.
That's in the
That
Hebron
was in
Views,
the.
this one.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was in there. I read, actually read it this week. That's pretty slick magazine, so. Okay. Is there anyone who is in communication with Hebron Views? Hi,
I do,
Donna
I
works
do,
on it.
I do the Hebron views.
Yeah.
okay. So what do we need to do to get this to you?
Kevin just needs to send it to me.
Kevin, another thing for
Yep.
you to do.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Is this any different than what you usually do? Don't you usually put something in?
I usually try to look at what happened in the last 3 months and just do kind of a library update for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
So this is different, but it doesn't mean that, we couldn't do a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Well, this is looking forward rather than backwards.
Yeah.
I understand. And it also,
Okay.
states the philosophy and, something may click with somebody to become involved in the library itself rather than just using the library. So, the volunteering, donating and stuff like that. I don't think people know they can actually give money to the library because, they consider it to be something the town has. So.
They can put it in that little jar right up there on the desk.
We're not talking that kind of money.
I thought that was the coffee fund. What is that?
You can put
Not
stacks
for
of
you to buy
bills
coffee,
in the
Pat.
bookshop.
Okay, all right. The library board representative to be appointed to the roof building committee. Does anybody know about roof building and construction? Okay, nobody knows either. I thought maybe someone has some experience with this, but it doesn't appear to be. Does anyone want to volunteer for this? Don't always say yes at once here.
Peter, are you interested in repping for us?
No, I'm currently, no, I'm gonna pass on that. Thank you.
These
Okay.
Hey,
meetings
Peter,
are
you were the one
third-
I was going to nominate for that.
third
Oh,
Monday of the month. This
Peter
one
Peter
upcoming
knows
is
about
Zoom.
construction. I mean, I have very limited experience in the construction industry. I mean, I could take a shot at it. If no one else wants to volunteer.
I'm flat out with everything right now.
Yeah, I have a trial coming up, but that'll be the rest of this month. So when's the next meeting?
Well, we have a building committee meeting on Monday, but that's not strictly talking about the roof. That's more HVAC. I will get back to you.
Okay, I just volunteered myself.
Okay. Thank you, Pat.
Okay.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go Pat. Go.
I don't know how much help I'll be because I really,
Well, yeah,
I know roof's on top of my house, so I do know that.
they're experts. They do kind of know this stuff really well. So I think we're just there to advocate for the library and what we need for the library to function during all of this. And,
Okay,
for the most part, I'm listening to them and, only piping in.
learning.
Yeah, learning.
Okay.
The main
Schmeisel.
reason for it is to satisfy the requirement of the state grant.
Okay,
That's
Yeah.
the main reason
That's,
for it.
yeah.
okay, so I
Do
can
we
just,
need a motion?
I'm sorry?
Do we need a motion?
I think we should
If
have
we're
one,
doing
and
an
I'll make a
appointment, yes,
motion.
we do.
I'll make a motion that Pat become our representative to the building committee.
I'll
I
second it.
Okay.
Roof building committee.
Roof building.
Roof building committee, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? And I abstain.
Mm.
Okay, the next thing is the Schmeisel resignation.
That's mostly just informative. So Beth has gotten a job out of state and she's resigning her position on the board. So we will have an empty slot to fill at one point. She's an association member. And we thank her for her service. It's nice to have her on for a couple of years.
Should we send her something or,
No,
No?
no, we don't do that.
Okay, not even a thank you
You
card?
have to serve for 30 years in order to
Oh.
receive something.
There you
Okay,
go, Marianne. I like that.
there you
Um,
go, Mary Ann.
A
We could
a
send
lot
her
of
a
people
thank you note.
know that Beth is leaving, and I've gotten a couple of phone calls from folks who were previously interested in getting on the board, like back when Colleen did it all. So Althea and I were supposed to be the recruitment thing. So Althea, I'll talk to you about the couple of people and
Okay,
we'll contact them.
okay.
Great.
You know, we could just send a thank you note to Beth for, for her service.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I
just a
think that
little
would be
card or
appropriate.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of flowers or candy or, a gift basket. I was thinking more of just a card.
Yeah, just thanking her for her service.
Yeah. Okay. The grant workshop discussion, I think we already did that in my report. Unless anyone has any more thoughts on that. And then the other new business, I guess we're moving on to the 3D printer.
Let me just, before we do that, who's
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
send do you want me to send the card or who's our secretary? Do we have a secretary?
Oh, no, it's better that you send it, Althea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know
Okay.
how
I
to
mean,
do
I'm
it.
aware of the secretary, but it's better that you do it. Well, as she's an association member,
All right, we
So,
put
yeah,
on
that
the
would be great.
calendar.
Are you
I'm-
volunteering out there?
I will send a card. I don't have her address. If somebody could get me that.
I can text you that.
Okay,
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you for volunteering.
No problem.
Okay, where were we? Oh, other new business. This is, I guess, where we're going to talk about buying a new 3D printer.
Where would the funds come from?
The 016 account has a significant amount of money in it from just donations that have been made over the years. So I was thinking they would come from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
if there wasn't a problem with funding, I think that's a good idea to pursue that.
Yeah, so
No, and
basically,
we have-
I'm sorry. Someone was speaking.
and
Oh,
I
well,
was, well, maybe others were.
go ahead and then I'll
Yeah.
speak after you.
MA, you're up.
I was just, you have some recommendations that we should further look into but can we right now make a motion that says we limit our investment to, I don't know what, 1,500? I don't care.
Sure.
But that move forward on it. And I would so move if that's appropriate.
Yeah,
Kevin,
I
is
was
that
going to
is that
make that-
enough?
Make a motion that we authorize Kevin to spend up to $1,500 on a 3D printer out of Fund 16, because we have to have a motion saying Fund 16 if he's going to do that.
Okay, now, are we talking $1,500 for purchasing the printer or $1,500 including the repairs for the old printer?
No,
No.
purchasing,
is
the
just-
repair is separate.
Okay,
Right.
so would someone care to make a motion?
Well,
to that?
I had a
Oh, yeah.
technical.
I mean, Gail and I sort of just did.
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay, all right.
Wait,
Because
Althea wants
Althea
to
has a
say-
question for
Yeah,
us.
I just had a technical question. Early on, when we put this on the agenda, we had a motion and it was approved to change or add this to the
Yes.
agenda. But, oh, I lost my thought now. It was to change the agenda, but we didn't actually put this. Did we have to put the specific item on the agenda? We didn't do that.
I think we,
Thought
talked
we did.
about the.
We only did the one motion. I thought
We did the motion to amend the agenda to include the purchase of a 3D printer.
Oh, I didn't think we did that. I thought we just did the technical. I could be wrong. Okay.
No,
I mean, that's
what
thought
my
we
notes
had,
say.
but
I
Pardon?
bet Catherine has it.
Okay,
There's such-
because,
And I have another-
as I recall, we were talking about approving, Gail had suggested
Yeah.
approving the
Yeah.
$1,000, and we had moved that item. We had put that item to amend the agenda for number 7.
Yeah, and I didn't think we went through with it, but that's fine, we're all set. So then
Yeah.
I have one more question now. Up to $1,500, does that include usually you have to get a service warranty or service contract to
Yeah.
go with it? Does that 15 include that?
Yeah, most of the standard 3D printers have a warranty. It's not very long.
Okay.
And I'm sure Kevin will be taking that into account, but most of them do have it.
I was thinking more of the material, whatever you call it.
Oh, the filaments.
Thank you.
Yeah, they have to be purchased too, but they're not that expensive actually. So
We have a lot
and
of
a lot of the
them. But you
printers
have
give you a
many-
deal if you buy the printer on, purchasing filaments. So
We have a lot of filament, already. So we may be able to purchase something here and there if there's a special thing. Emma shared with me over my email, the wood 3D printing filament might be interesting to try. So maybe something like that might be.
Yeah, could I have a second for the motion? Because we are now in discussion. Would someone
Oops,
mind?
second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all right, so we have a motion to authorize up to $1,500 for a 3D printer from the 016 fund account. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, and it's authorizing Kevin to spend that. Okay, all right, can we have any more discussion on the issue?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes, Peter.
Are we comfortable with the research that Kevin has done and the dollar amount? My concern is I don't want to leave something I don't want to leave a stone unturned that maybe might have been missed in what Kevin's done. And I don't also want to cut ourselves short, because maybe if you look through the research, maybe $1,700 is the number and not 1,500, and we miss it by a few bucks. So I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with this item coming up tonight, kind of quickly, as I see it.
Kevin, what do you think? You've done the research.
I feel fairly comfortable that I have an idea what's out there on the market. There are different price levels I can go with. And so I've got a model picked out that should run about $1,000. And I was looking at purchasing maybe a second extruder for it. So I think under 15 should be okay. And it seems to be well rated. And like I said, it's what the schools use. And they're happy with it. So I
You
feel
said
like it's been-
RAM uses this, correct?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
I
Would
feel
we,
like it's, I'm sorry, Peter, go ahead.
well, I was just thinking here, Kevin, would we be better served with a not to exceed X number of dollars? As
We could
opposed to
say, yeah,
setting-
up to
Up to,
up to 15.
yeah, the motion was up to 15.
Well,
Is that what you were thinking, Peter?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I want to make sure that the 15, if that's the number, is the price of the machine, the price of the filament, and other things that maybe even a service contract, other ancillary equipment that might go along with the printer.
Are you thinking about increasing the amount then?
That's what I was thinking. That's why I suggested maybe a not to exceed. So he doesn't have to go crazy, but if there are other amenities that would augment what Kevin's doing, let's give him the flexibility to do that. So we only have to do it once.
Okay, and what amount are you suggesting, Peter?
I've got to really defer to Kevin. I don't know a thing about what the 3D printers cost and the models he's looking at. So I would defer to Kevin and his good judgment.
Well, don't forget
Well, you know,
tax, Kevin.
Well, we don't pay tax, so.
Oh, that's right, we're, yeah, goodness.
tax exempt, yeah. Pat,
Yeah,
here's a thought.
Okay.
Here's plan B. What we could do is keep it as it is, and Kevin could, if it runs over, he could ask the friends for the additional money. for what he needs, because they do have the
Hmm.
money.
Okay, all right.
I'm speaking as a
Well,
friend.
you know, well, Kevin said 1,000 he thought was a good number. So when I moved it, I said 1,500, which is, 50% more than what he had mentioned. So I can't imagine that we would need beyond that number.
Well, there's also some supplies you have to buy with it, the filaments.
Well, that's what I said. You called it the,
Yeah, and the programs do come with the printer. And if you want to upgrade the programs, that's, that would be a software issue. And these things, is this one assembled or do you have to pay to have it assembled, Kevin?
It's $750 unassembled, $1,000 assembled.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And, I don't have the answers to all these questions because I wasn't planning on asking for these funds tonight. So I can tell you that like 1,500 sounds right. If there's, like Peter said, if the right machine is $1,800, I'm not going to pull the trigger on a $1,200 machine. I'm going to come back to you and ask for more money.
Or ask the friends.
Or ask the friends, right?
Yeah. Okay. Are you okay with that, Peter?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we have a motion that has been seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. Okay. There you go. Have fun, Kevin.
Thanks. I will.
I went through all this last year, in buying. I did a tremendous amount of research. And I think I'm surprised you found one for such a good price, actually. So.
I was expecting it to be more money when I kept reading positive reviews of it.
Yeah, because
So-
I expect it to be around 2,000 at least,
Yeah.
just for the machine, so.
Yeah. You get them
Okay,
as cheap as one, like about 150. They get real cheap.
and if Ram's using it, that it's being beat to death. People are abusing it and doing terrible things to it, so. Okay. I guess we're moving on to the strategic plan committees.
Okay, so strategic plan update committee, we had a meeting before this meeting. So we discussed the focus group that took place on the 28th. We had a very nice meeting with about 10 people and gave us some great feedback. So we went through that, pulled out a couple of potential new goals. And where we're at now is we're past kind of most of the information gathering. So we're trying to narrow down our goals, and we've got a structure, and we're just trying to wordsmith this so we can make sure that it says what it is. So we're working on that, and hopefully starting towards the end game, if not a couple of months, I would think.
Okay, so the next couple of months. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about safe space? Any information on that? Peter, share. Peter?
I talked with Sherry and we have nothing new to add. So
Okay.
we're set for the month.
Okay. Technology. I guess that's done.
Hi, yes, so we're working on a computer replacement plan, and just today I met with Novus, our IT support company, to review computer replacements and to see if we could get some quotes. Right now, they weren't sure, but we're going to try with the chip shortage and just all the different things that are causing issues in the supply chain. But if we do, we'll be replacing the 3 full-time libraries. So Kevin, Claire, and Sherry, we would be replacing their computers with this next round. And we're going to go, I think I've told you before, but we're going to go with the laptop setup so that we can go remote quickly if we need to. So each setup would be, a docking station, a laptop, a keyboard, and a monitor. But it's much easier to go work remotely if you need to, if we already have that in place.
With COVID,
So
we never
hopefully-
know.
We learned a lot over the last couple of years, definitely.
Yeah.
Technology, I think I talked about it a little bit earlier about trying to set up the virtual meeting rooms or the hybrid meeting rooms. So I'm going to, work with couple vendors on that. And the other thing we're looking at is the security camera upgrades and keyless entry. And that's for all of the town buildings, but the library is definitely going to be included in that. So we have some money already budgeted for that. We're still looking for some money to finish off that project.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and then Kevin also mentioned the Chromebooks that he's going to be giving out from the grant too. Okay, the next one is diversity. Kevin, Dale, which one?
I don't think we have much to report other than the equity boot camp programs are coming up.
Okay. Next one is community. That would be Gail.
Yes, nothing really new to report there. We certainly have the library being involved with the community, as we will this coming weekend with the Maple Fest.
That sounds like fun. I missed it last year. I mean, I missed having it. Okay.
Yeah, I work it every year. So the last time, the weather was freezing. So I'm looking forward to working it in a warmer environment this weekend.
Hopefully not rainy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I just hope they have maple ice cream. I really do. Oh, that was so good. Anyway, okay, lifelong learning, that would be Althea or Colleen.
I have a little report, but before I start, I'm hoping that Colleen, Claire, and I can meet maybe this summer, because I know, Colleen, you work, teaching during the school year. So the three of us have not had a chance to meet together and put together some ideas. And I think Claire hopefully will, be willing to do that. So right now, Claire shared with me that they're continuing the Friday films. They've had some really good ones there. In a timely fashion, Belfast is going to be there on the 18th. That's this Friday. And then West Side Story is going to be at the 25th.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
And then on the 16th, that's really soon, they're having a Medicare enrollment information session. And then, of course, the Spirited Book Club discussion is continuing. That's held at the American Legion next door. And the 24th, they're going to be doing the Paris Library Book Club discussion at Coldbrook Village. So that's really nice. That gets the seniors involved. And FYI, it's a great book. I just read it recently.
Okay.
Kevin mentioned the Take and Makes. That's where they have the kits, and they handed out 60 Valentine gnome kits and 20 snowman book carving kits.
Wow.
And this, again, in a very timely fashion, the March kit is to make maple syrup
I guess the
candy.
wheelchair is bothering her, so maybe you can put it
Yeah,
over
so
there.
they're doing that.
Maple
So
syrup
that's-
candy?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I get one?
Yeah. So I think it's making our library, the things that are happening, a popular place for children and adults.
Sounds good.
So
Sounds great.
Claire does a nice job, and we hope to do, hopefully we'll get some more things. They get some nice things going on for the kids, and I'd like to see some more adult things going on. So
Like making,
hopefully,
maple
Colleen,
syrup
you can-
candy, that's a
Yeah.
adult thing,
yeah,
Okay.
Althea,
yes.
yes, I agree. I definitely hope we can meet. And I'm wondering, I get an April break. If we could talk offline about maybe finding a date then, which would be sooner than the summer.
Possibly. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm like really involved in trying to help put together a Juneteenth program for June. So, well, obviously. But maybe I can slip that in too. Yeah.
Yeah. Does Claire, does she also pick the movies?
Yes.
Because kudos to her. She's really
Oh,
hitting out
yeah.
of the park with the books
Yeah.
and the movies.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That if anyone hasn't read the Paris Library book, it's great.
It's very good.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Me too. Yes. Yeah. It's It's one of those books where the characters stay with you. And I've talked too long, so I'll shut up now.
I
Thank
I
you.
will when I hear her getting her.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate it.
Okay, do we have any other business that you want to have in front of the assembly?
I don't have to move at all. I mean,
Hello?
I do have to move.
No, it's not us, right?
This is background noise. Yeah.
It's background noise, okay. All right, and if there's nothing new, I would like to have a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Oh, thank you. And a
I'll
second,
second
please.
that.
And all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstentions. Good. We are adjourned at 8:29.
Great job.
Good job.